Hey there, it's Natalie Topa, and I'm here in Fumba Town in Zanzibar. And Fumba Town is a master planned community with between 600 and 700 homes that are planned, different types and price points. So there are a number of apartment units coming up, there are townhomes, there are single family detached homes, and we're right here on the water in Zanzibar. So there's the beautiful ocean over there. Very gorgeous colors. This is a very special town because the sort of unique thing about this place is that Franco Gosse and Bernadette Kirsch have been leading the vision here on how to integrate permaculture-based design principles into a conventional construction and conventional architecture, conventional development, using permaculture-based design principles to passively harvest the stormwater that passes through the town and turn that into productive systems. So all throughout, you'll see we don't find curb and gutter here, and a lot of this is still not completed. Everything is still under construction. But eventually, what you'll have is a system where there isn't formalized drainage for stormwater removal from the site. Instead, what they're doing is creating these pockets of production so that water can be passively harvested into various basins, green drains as they're called, and to just pour naturally passively into treed systems. So this whole entire area over time is going to become a massive food forest. Already you can see, we've got things like coconut palms and bananas and papayas and moringa and chaya tree spinach, which is a very, very highly nutritious, here it is as well, a highly nutritious food tree that grows prolifically as well. And so, there are edible cherries. Here's a playground as well that has been made from super adobe construction, actually. So earth bag, tamped and compressed earth bags. And here you have a playground for children and an entire sort of landscaped area using a low seating wall that community members sit on and watch the kids play. And then there's Kwetu Kwenu, which is a little commercial kiosk. It's a food station. It's where people congregate in the evenings, have beverages, have coffee. And there's Franco now. But basically, this is a edible town, and children, people, patrons can walk through, harvest food for free. Food is free. But one thing that I love is that the next initiative that Noel and Franco are working on is a biogas system, a biogas digester that will make use of a toilet. Right now we have a toilet over here, but it needs to be upgraded. And so rather than just creating a septic system that becomes anaerobic and contaminates groundwater, especially when we have these porous soils of coral, all of that human nutrient is going to be flowed into a big biogas digester, and this biogas digester will produce methane that can be used for cooking in the kiosk. And I just love that. Hi, Franco.
Hello.
Hi, Noel.
Hi.
Noel Tauro is an architect from India with Case Architects. Case design, and Franco is part of the duo that is the brains behind all of this town design. So this is where the biogas digester and toilet will be. And then, when you have this methane production, you have a couple of different options. That can go as a cooking gas into the kiosk to produce food. It can also be converted to electrification so that this area can have, diffused pedestrian scale lighting. So I just love the innovation and how many different types of things are being tried here. The super adobe construction, once again, is what I would call alternative construction. I wouldn't say it's necessarily natural construction because it does use the polythene bags that are the gunias, the gunny sacks that are rammed and then plastered. And so, it's not fully natural. Why we call it alternative construction is because it does not require the use of timbers, of any rebar or any other irons or steels, and very, very minimal cement and concrete just at the base and around buttresses. So, again, as you walk through the town, I mean, it's still filling in with all of the vegetation, but I just want to take a quick peek at this mulberry lane, which I love. So this is a vehicle access for the town, and again, eventually these may be fitted with more crushed gravel, crushed coral rock, or paved, but there's still a lot of construction happening. But what Bernadette and Franco have been focusing on is the vegetation, the tree systems, energy, drainage, water management, wastewater management, waste management overall with the town, and collection of any organic waste and conversion into organic compost that comes back here into the town. But here, kids ride their bikes, they stop, they can harvest mulberries, we've got lemons, we've got guavas, we've got moringa, more chaya spinach. I mean, if you go through pomegranates, there's just so many different types of trees, not only in the public space, but also you can see that rainwater off of the rooftops is captured into little sponge islands and green drains where people are growing a blend of whatever they want to be growing. You can see the papayas, growing right on this tree, the bananas, there's moringa, there's all kinds of other stuff tucked in there. I'm not even sure what's there, but we got mango trees, jackfruits. All of these drains are where stormwater, rather than just flowing into the ocean and being completely wasted, are turning into food systems for neighbors and for the whole community. So people ask, what if somebody steals the food? Food is free, okay? Humans are the only species who've created a system that would require us to pay for food. So anyway, yeah, plant fruit trees. Don't be afraid of people feeding themselves. Plant enough for you and enough for everyone. So the whole concept here is based on this, notion of abundance and fair share and people care and earth care. So we're cycling nutrients. We're harvesting stormwater runoff. Again, this entire town does not have a town level drainage system. You just have individual homes that are little by little becoming occupied. They're filling in. The food forestry is having its biological uplift. So there's a lot of wonderful stuff happening here. And I could go through the whole town and show so many examples of basins which get mulched. This whole area is built on coral rock. So a lot of places you'll see these pits or basins that get filled with organic material through the landscaping management. And filled into the basins to create fertility for trees that provide shade and reduce the heat island effect. You have acacia, nitrogen fixing trees. One thing especially about Bernadette, I mean, she's really a true expert in all of the biodiversity here, including the indigenous biodiversity, local trees, the native traditional food systems here on the island, as well as things that can thrive here and be borrowed from other tropical environments. So and I love that there's a lot of flexibility for individual homeowners to adapt the system based on the trees that they want, the overstory and the canopy that they want. So it's, once again, it's still in progress. It's still under construction. There's just construction going on everywhere, but hopefully this provides a vision of all the kinds of innovation that we can integrate into conventional urban development. So, as you go through the whole town, this side is quite established around the roundabout here and the little kiosk. And then, of course, as you enter into the town, all of that water off of the paved road, the road is crested, and all that water is directed into that huge island median that represents tons of different, types of diverse trees and perennial shrubs and plants. So all throughout the town here, you'll see areas that are becoming forested. You have your overstory and canopy, which is starting to fill in. Here's a street that's a little bit more mature. This one is paved, also crested, so you can see that water runs off on either side into those tree systems before reaching the ocean. So really great example that everyone should follow. We don't want to drain water away. We want to create parking lots, not highways. capture that water so it can go into productive tree systems to create evapotranspiration, cooling, carbon sequestration, and food security. Thanks.